In terms of balancing those two sensibilities, a local and an international festival, there was a lot of discussion this year over opening the festival with creation instead of a Canadian film. Do you feel that's a responsibility that that Canadian film needs that extra stage and that spotlight each year, and that there just wasn't a film strong enough this year, or is it more, what's most appropriate, and we shouldn't, as a festival, be pigeon-toed into having to go with a Canadian film every year? It's just what's most appropriate.
I think it's always what's most appropriate. I mean, we have a very strong responsibility that we take quite seriously about supporting Canadian film and giving that the best possible launch every year. So we try to find the right place for each film. And these are, high stakes events, the launch of a new Canadian film. Everybody's watching, everyone's there in the room. So we try to find exactly the right place for each film. At the same time, opening night is a very particular circumstance, and you want to make sure that the film that plays in front of that audience that night is also the perfect film for that position. And Piers and I found this film Creation, which, as it turns out, has Canadian financing, but that wasn't our intention at all. We were just looking for the best film for the slot. We liked what the director, John Emile, had been doing. We liked the performances, especially from Paul Bettany and Jennifer Connelly. And we thought this was a film that was about ideas and that was still accessible enough and told a great story. And this was the kind of film that was really going to work for that position. That can be a Canadian film, and historically it's usually a Canadian film. But we don't feel like every year it has to be a Canadian film.
I just want to finish up by taking it back to audiences and because for me, looking at the business of storytelling, that's really one area that has the most capacity to change things is, bums in seats and eyeballs on television screens. And since I moved to Toronto, before I began involved in filmmaking, still had a great passion for Canadian films, and I always looked at TIFF as sort of a buffet. This was a one opportunity to see a bunch of Canadian films and to starve through the rest of the winter until the festival came up again, because it really, it is a populist festival, a people-driven festival, and we were at tons of Canadian openings, everything from You're the Carnivore to Cole, and there were lineups down the streets and sold-out shows. So, the appetite is there, but I'm just looking at it from a financial perspective over the course of the rest of the year. Why are we unable to carry that over into seeing that market share?
Oh, I think it's really hard to translate the excitement of a festival, which is an event where people want to take chances, actually, want to be surprised. And I mean, let's face it, some people are running off to see 5 films a day over the course of 10 days, and you don't do that during the rest of the year. You're very selective in terms of your what you go and see. Most people may see 2 or 3 films a week, and I bet most people it's like 1 a month. So festivals are hothouses of excitement, and people will take all kinds of chances and go and see a bunch of films that they wouldn't otherwise see. So I think that it's very, very difficult to translate that energy and excitement. But I guess the trick is, and this is where we probably need to spend a little bit more time thinking, is it's clearly all about marketing and about publicity and leveling the playing field. And one of the great things about the festival, I think, was it was just a natural marketing tool for all kinds of different cinemas. And that marketing tool proved to be extremely successful. It created huge profile and visibility, massive media attention. It was this enormous sledgehammer. You were suddenly making a statement. And so I think that, over the rest of the year, and I know Canadian distributors are scratching their heads all the time and trying to be as creative as they possibly can be. And the first weekend club is, one of those innovative ideas. People are now, I get all kinds of constant email blasts from a Canadian film that's just about to open, and I want to get out for the first weekend, et cetera, et cetera. So it's how do you kind of galvanize an audience and and make them aware of it?